This story is about a warrior and leader who grew up a peasant and later became a saint. Her name is Joan of Arc. She was raised in a village of Domremy, which is located on the edge of a large forest called Bois Chenu. There are prophecies surrounding her arrival from several sources, but the most famous of them are including Merlin, who was a legendary British sorcerer and prophet. The legend of Joan of Arc, the prophecies were vague, but concerned a young maid of honor and a sacrifice who would become the savior of France. This prophecy, this maiden would be dressed in armor, carrying a sword, and riding a white stallion. The part that I find pretty awesome is about this story is that the forest, it was an important part of her childhood, and it was steeped in local legend. Now, the legends say that there was a tree near that forest that she lived by. The townspeople of that area called it the fairy tree. Now, when she was a child, her and other children during that time would gather there and perform rituals like weaving flower garlands. Joan of Arc was about 13 years old. She had her first vision, her first visitation. She was in her father's garden in Domremy, and while she was there, she saw a bright light, and she heard the voice of Saint Michael the Archangel. At first, she was afraid of these voices she would hear in the garden, and over time, she grew to trust these voices, and they would bring her comfort. While Joan's own testimony places her voices in her garden, there's a lot of folklore and prophecies about a savior from the oak wood, which may have been kind of mixed around over time. This contributed to the romantic image of the forest, the relationship that she had with the forest. When she was around 17 years old, she had a very strong message, and this strong message was to save France. And she had an unwavering faith that gave her the courage to challenge military leaders and persuade and lead troops into battle. So she convinced Prince Charles to let her accompany an army. Bravery that it must have taken. You know, she was 17 years old, leading an army, all on unwavering faith.
Follow me and I will give you victory!
Soon after helping out Prince Charles, she was captured. And she was captured by Burgundian forces. These were allies of the English, and she was later sold to the English. Now, they put her on trial. And here's where it starts getting twisted. They put Joan on trial for heresy and witchcraft, which charges included claiming to hear voices and dressing in men's clothing. Now, again, she's a 17-year-old girl. She's fighting alongside an army. She's leading an army. And of course, she's going to be wearing men's clothing. She has to dress for the occasion. She needs to wear some kind of armor. And so, they locked her in a tower. And this tower still stands to this day. And they call it the Castle of Ruin. Despite her defense and despite her heroic actions, she was found guilty and burned at the stake in 1431 at the age of 19. Her family requested a retrial, and the original verdict was overturned. In 1920, she was canonized as a saint by the Roman Catholic Church. She was led by her unwavering faith and her intuition and her connection to a higher power. There are still statues to this day, and she is revered as a national heroine and a symbol of France, which inspires many with her faith and her courage.